Good morning. Thanks for joining my channel. I am inside today because it's raining and you saw how muddy it was yesterday. It is just a muddy, muddy mess out there. We're supposed to get another over an inch of rain today and then something like a half to 3/4 of an inch tomorrow. It's just unbelievable. So, hey, good morning, Dolly. I figured I'd talk here and it'll be a short one. Good morning, Frank. So we're going to talk about the peace of Christ. The peace of Christ. And we're going to be in Colossians. So this is Paul's letter to the young Christian church in Colossus. Letter of Colossians, chapter 3, verses 8 through 17. Okay? The key verse is verse 15. As members of one body, you are called to peace. As members of one body, you are called to peace. I almost don't want to say this, but I was going to use the example of U.S. political system, Congress, but it's not a very good example right now. So I'm going to have to go with what's in my little booklet here. Hey, good morning, Vicki. I hope everybody had a good night's sleep. So the example here is from the Adirondack Wars. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but like in 1892, there was the Adirondack Park set up in upstate New York to kind of protect the beautiful natural land that was up there. However, in the 70s and then again in the 90s, like battles broke out between environmentalists and local landowners. And one time, a small town leader had to warn everybody by asking a question because there was so much shouting and yelling going on. Will either one of you win by arguing? Never. It's never going to happen because they're just shouting at each other. And that's how these Adirondack Wars started. You can actually see it. There's like a Wikipedia page on it. It was so out of control. And obviously the environmentalists wanted to protect the area's pristine wilderness, and property owners wanted to develop it. You know, one time there's even someone shouting, "Go back to wherever you came from." One of the local leaders shouted at an environmentalist. Hey, good morning, Jason. But soon a message emerged. Don't yell at each other. Try to talk to each other. And a common ground alliance was formed to build bridges between these two parties. And then civic dialogue led to progress, and almost 1 million acres of wildland was protected, even as the Adirondack towns grew more prosperous than they ever had been. So there was some common ground found. Now, peaceful coexistence, I wish our Congress could do this, right? They can't. Peaceful coexistence is a start, but Paul taught something even better. To the new believers in Colossae, he said, rid yourselves, this is a quote, rid yourselves of anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips, and do not lie. Of course, that last one's one of the big ones. It's the 10 commandments. That's from Colossians 3:8. Paul urged them to exchange their old ways for new ways in Christ. He said, instead, clothe yourselves, quote, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. That's in verse 12. And that invitation is offered to all of us today. It's not just an invitation. It's somewhat of a command from Paul, right? Surrender our old cantankerous lives to new life in Christ. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. since as members of one body you were called to peace. Paul wrote, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace. Verse 15. Then, in our peace, or what we show in that way, the world will see Jesus. And that's why I can't really say anything about Congress, because I don't think anybody sees Jesus in anybody from Congress right now. It's so bad. So I basically had to use everything from this booklet. I couldn't think of another example, but I'd never heard of the Adirondack Wars, so that was kind of interesting to me to read about that. You can read a little bit online if you want, how they did finally find some common ground and come together. Yeah, it was, and probably how the dialogue had to change from shouting and swearing at each other to just clothing themselves in compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Probably had to listen to each other. Now here's 2 questions, because Paul also talks about forgiveness in this passage as well. Whom could you forgive today? And with whom can you make peace? With whom could you forgive today? And with whom can you make peace? Yeah, this is kind of like, this is more of a narration. I basically took this one almost verbatim from my little booklet, because I struggled to find an example, a different example. And I didn't want to go to my new book yet, because this was the last one in this booklet that I have. Hey, William. This is a good message. I could have used this when I was a lot younger. Like a long time ago. Rid yourselves of anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips, and do not lie. Because I could tend to bottle things up and not know how to communicate them, and then after a while I would just get really angry. Yeah. And I just let it all out. That was bad. And I was probably scary too, because I'm so big. So that probably wasn't a good experience for the people on the other side. So what does everybody have planned today? I am not going to be on tonight, okay? I'm not going to be on tonight. I think I'm going to watch the game. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch it here because my antenna, thanks to Frank, I got this powered TV antenna that amplifies the signal, but the only station, of course, that I cannot get is CBS. And of course, who's carrying the Final Four and the NCAA tournament? CBS. So I'll probably have to go somewhere to watch the game. Oh, good. You're going to go running? Nice. Oh, you're working today, Olivia. I don't know where Annie is. She went back into the kennel this morning. She must be tired. You going back to sleep, Jason? Jason, boo. Dolly, I don't know how you do it. I don't know if you're actually really awake and only sleep like 5 hours a night or something like that. How do you do that? Dolly's up. Psh. Maybe you got 6 hours? 6 to 7. Okay. That's a little better than I thought. Yeah, man. Hopefully you don't have to deal with those people again. That's horrible. I'm gonna finish summarizing a book that I read because I want to make some of my morning lives about this book that one of my Sunday like Bible study, Bible fellowship teachers wrote, and I'll share that. I'll kind of make a video for each chapter, so it'll be like 8 or 9 videos about that book. Little kids start coming in anyways. That's funny. Survive till 4. Are you doing 8 to 4, Olivia? You're gonna have to be taken off soon then. How many Bible groups? Well, I go to 2 after the service on Sunday morning. So I go to the 8:15 service, and then there's a 9:30 and an 11 o'clock. So I'm basically at church all Saturday. I'm sorry, all Sunday morning. And then once in a while, if I can make it, I go to the Thursday morning men's Bible study. So there's 3 of them per week. Oh, 9 to 4, Olivia. Okay, that's good. I bet Hobby Lobby is busier than all get out on Saturday because they're closed on Sunday. So people who are working, going to school, all that stuff, they really can, if they're too busy in the evenings studying or have activities, then they probably have to go to Hobby Lobby on Saturday. It's probably so busy. I do enjoy it. I do. Do you go to any Bible studies, Dolly? Or do you go to any church? It's probably tough lugging all the kids around. I passed by the Hobby Lobby and was filled with sympathetic dread. Oh my gosh, you have people waiting at 8:50? Wow. All right, guys, I think I'm going to let you go. Have a good Saturday. I won't be on again tonight. Final Four, men's Final Four is on tonight. But I will be on before church tomorrow morning, so I hope to see you then. Here's Frank. Last couple times he was at Hobby Lobby, they were very organized, Lots of people on the floor to help and greeted me when I came in. Frank likes Hobby Lobby. What did you get there the last time you were at Hobby Lobby, Frank? Yeah, Olivia, I know. No, you wouldn't be here if you didn't have to work. Oh, yeah, the pig and animal figures. That's right. All right, everybody. Have a good day. And remember, before I say see you tomorrow morning, remember, Paul wrote, clothe ourselves in compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. I think Dolly, or not Dolly, I think Olivia will need this more than any of us working today at Hobby Lobby. So have a good day. Hope you have a great day at work, Olivia, and it surprises you, okay? Peace, everybody. See you tomorrow morning. Enjoy your Saturday.